Welcome back. Last night, Evita opened in Sydney, and of course our man on the spot was our own show business expert, Peter Ford. Here's Peter. Oh, look, looking great. What was it like, Peter?
So-so, Bert.
Really?
Yeah, so-so. Now, Evita was staged in Australia about 8 or 9 years ago. Now, remember Jennifer Murphy? She had the lead role in
Very
it,
well.
and she did a great job with it too. But I think if my memory serves me correctly, it only sort of just broke even at the time, so a lot of people were surprised to hear they were doing it again. Now, they did, of course, have Julie Covington in the lead role for the first few weeks of rehearsals, but there were big problems behind the scenes.
What happened? Yeah.
Well, all sorts of stories floating around, Bert, and probably the truth lies somewhere between all of them, but the fact is she's no longer there. They were very fortunate to be able to get Stephanie Lawrence, who had played it on the West End. She came out at literally a couple of hours' notice to take over. She was terrific last night. Now, people in Sydney always turn out for an opening night, and last night the venue was the State Theatre, and it's beautifully refurbished too, the magnificent theatre that really had gone to sort of rack and ruin. But there's Mike Willis. Now, look who Mike is with. Mike and Carol back together.
Oh, that's great news.
That's good news,
wonderful.
isn't it? That's terrific. They arrived. Ron Casey there. Ron always turns out for an opening night in Sydney.
I think he's with the Chinese consulate. No.
There's Richard Wilkins from MTV. I don't know who his companion was, but he arrived just as the bell was ringing for people to go.
He's got two companions there. He's learning from Jack Thompson.
Alan Jones, 2UE breakfast announcer. I heard him this morning. Now, have a look at the people getting out of this car. This is Sydney's hot double date at the moment. Deborah Hutton, who people in Sydney are familiar with from the Grace Brothers commercials.
And Harry M. Miller.
Harry M. Miller.
And look at the haircut on Harry.
Very swisho,
Doesn't he
isn't it?
look good? He looks like Michael Douglas.
Now, he is, of course, Deborah's manager, and also he's being seen around the town with her constantly. Colleen Clifford, great Sydney theatrical legend.
Yes,
She's still
indeed.
going very strong. Terrific
Wonderful lady.
So everyone was there.
An exciting night.
The show itself, well, so-so. Now, I felt that really the three leads in the show, David Weatherley, a very fine New Zealand actor, Glenn Shorrock making his theatrical debut in an actual character role. He's done that terrific one-man show. Stephanie Lawrence were all great. But overall, something just didn't gel. As an ensemble piece, it just didn't work. I think most people had the feeling the performance was very flat, and they were working with a very tired musical. You know, our tastes have changed in the last 10 years or so, because these days we go to the theatre either to see spectacle, like we have with Starlight Express, or we have with Cats, or we go to see terrific music. Now, of course, you've got the one hit song in the show, which is Don't Cry For Me Argentina. There's no other song that you come out humming, as it were, so they've got that working against them. But overall, I think people really came away feeling that there was something missing. Then if you're going to spend $45 or $40, whatever the tickets are, to go and see a show, you'd spend it to go and see 42nd Street rather than Evita.
What are the bookings like, Peter?
I'm told they're okay. They're not gangbusters. The show is booked to run for 4 months at least. Stephanie Lawrence is staying until mid-October, and I'm told that Glenn Shorrock is staying until mid-September. So that will be two good draw cards for them.
And Glenn's good, is he?
Yeah, Glenn's terrific, and I had some reservations about whether he'd be able to do it or not, because it's a really tough role. But, you know, it's an amazing thing. The last couple of months or the last year or so, we've seen Cameron Daddo do Big River with almost no theatrical experience and do it very well. And now Normie Rowe, of course, in Les Mis, taking on that mammoth role and doing it so well.
May I ask you about Normie and Les Miserables? Evidently, the decision is going to be made today as to whether he stays with the show or not. What's the latest mail?
Well, I think they're haggling over dough. Now, if Normie does come to Melbourne to do Les Mis, it'll only be for the first 10 weeks, because Rob Guest, who's played it in Sydney during Christmas, a very big star in New Zealand, he's taking over next year. But Normie's going into his own...
No Tony Barber?
No Tony Barber. Tony, I think, has missed out altogether, which is a great shame, because he would have put his heart and soul into
Certainly.
it. But Normie's going into his own one-man show called It Ain't Necessarily Rowe.
Oh, that's good.
Good title, isn't it?
Good title. What about Glenn Shorrock? Could you see him as the lead in Phantom of the Opera? I've mentioned that to a couple of people, and a few have not exactly laughed, but they haven't, you know, rushed out with contracts to sign him. I think he'd do an excellent job.
After seeing him last night, I could see him doing it. But everyone's been bandied about to do that role. Sammy Davis Jr. has been talked about.
Would that work, do you think?
Well, I'm told he's been offered the London production, not the Melbourne production. But Michael Crawford's coming here for the first 6 months anyway. I've got pretty good mail in that respect.
He's playing at where at the moment? LA?
He's in LA at the moment.
Did you catch up with the cast members last night, Peter?
I did. I spoke to Stephanie Lawrence and I spoke to Glenn Shorrock and I spoke to David Weatherley, who plays Perron, and I asked asked him whether he felt it really was worthwhile restaging Evita 8 years on.
Okay.
Well, it's 9 years. It's a long time since it was done here, and it's such a wonderful show that, I mean, people are still doing Oklahoma and things like that, but it's 40 or 50 years after they were done the first time. 9 years doesn't seem too bad. And it is a lovely show. There's some wonderful songs in it, wonderful dancing, movement, beautiful numbers. If it were a musical about a specific current moment in history, yes, it could get dated, but it's not. It's about a moment in past history. It's like Shakespeare. Shakespeare doesn't date. Neither does a musical of this standard.
I'm enjoying doing this role. It's a classic role, and as I've said many times in the press before, I feel it's a career move for me. You know, it's another step in my career. I can't be a rock and roller all my life. I've got to do other things as well, and I enjoy doing lots of other things. That was one of the reasons why I left LRB in '82 to try to break into theatre, and now I have. And but you know, this is only the first night. We have to see how I go for the whole 4 months.
It's a wonderful show, it really is. It was a wonderful company here in Sydney, one of the best I've ever worked with. And these little girlies.
Yeah, good to see the gang there, particularly, of course, Glenn. I find it very interesting, Peter, to look at the career plots of three people, particularly in Australia, Glenn, Johnny Farnham and Normie Rowe, because it's been very interesting in each of those cases, what they've done. Johnny, for example, I mean, he went to theatre before the resurgence of his recording career, didn't he?
Yeah, it's very important if you are a pop star to plan your career long term, and certainly, as Glenn just said then, he's doing just that. He's looking to new boundaries. What about the programs? Now, the programs are $9 each. Isn't that a rip-off? I think
really
that's
is.
too much. Now, if you want to buy a program for $9, fair enough. But in the States, when you go to the theatre and you pay your money for the ticket, when you go and sit at your seat, underneath is a little smaller program. No colour pictures or anything, but it gives you all the guff on the show and who's in it. Now, I think they should be doing that here. And if you do want to spend $9 on a big souvenir program, fair enough, you can do it. Now, you saw the kids in that grab there with Stephanie Lawrence. They're cute kids. They really are. And I spoke to the kids afterwards and asked them whether they thought they would continue their careers as actresses.
Definitely. I want to be an actress, or if I don't get that chance, I'd like to be a lawyer. I'm going to be individual, I'm going to be a doctor. No, definitely an actress for me. Yeah.
What's so appealing about it, do you think?
Oh, everybody's so nice. The excitement. But it's hard when you're an actress because, like, you never know when you're going to have jobs. And everybody's so nice. They're so friendly. Showbiz is fun.
And what about some of the older actors in the show? Are they a bit scary to work with?
No! They're the best part. Yeah, they are. Yeah. Especially Glenn. Glenn is gorgeous. And Stephanie. Oh. Yeah. They're all so nice and kind. They're gorgeous. They know what showbiz is all about.
Peter, just let me pick you up on one thing. Did I hear that beautiful little girl say that everybody in show business is so nice?
She did.
Oh, kiddo, if you're watching me today, dream while you can, dream while you can. Thanks a lot, Pete, for the review.
Bert.
So, we don't usually, to a man of your standing, we don't usually ask you to rate it out of 10, but on this occasion, what would you give it?
I'd say 6.
Only a 6.
And I'm feeling generous.
OK. Peter Ford, ladies and gentlemen. And after this break, we have the Radio Rhythm Orchestra for you. We'll see you soon.